Hello, my name is Lori Cooper, and we're going to be looking at the impact of poverty on student academic achievement. Poverty is an issue that impacts students all around the world and impacts their performance inside and outside of school. This research study seeks to identify the statistical impact that poverty has on student academic achievement. We're going to be looking at the Public School Review. According to the Public School Review, 71% of all of the students in grades kindergarten to third grade at the school in which I work are eligible for free and reduced lunch, indicating they are experiencing poverty. This shows that poverty, in fact, is an issue within the area I work and should be further researched. The same source reported data indicating that over 50% of all students within the state of Alabama qualify for free and reduced lunch and live in poverty-stricken homes. This data serves to show the elevated presence of poverty within the state and at my school. Let's take it deeper. Let's look at the math proficiency scores and the reading proficiency scores. As reported by Public School Review, the reading and language arts proficiency scores have decreased in recent years. The graphical representations show that the state average score in reading and language arts proficiency in the state of Alabama is below 50%. In addition, the average of scores in the county in which I work is only slightly higher at 59%. This data indicates poor performance on critical reading and language arts standards. With data represented on the screen, individuals at J.E. Terry Elementary School live in poverty. That is why I'm proposing the low scores of academic proficiency could be a result of a highly correlated with the level of poverty presented within the community. Connecting the background to the literature, I believe that poverty has serious and adverse impacts on student achievement, and I seek to better understand how poverty statistically impacts a child's success at school. Research previously conducted indicates that students living in poverty perform lower academically and struggle more heavily in academics at school. As a reading specialist, I work not only with the students that were marked as academically behind or struggling by their teachers, but also with their teachers and parents. As I work with my struggling students, teachers, and parents, I have learned more about their lives, their home experiences, and their families. I have observed that an overwhelming amount of my students receiving free and reduced lunch, indicating that their parents are experiencing poverty. The literature says, according to the National Center of Children in Poverty, children who live below the poverty line are already 18 months behind what an average for their age group by the age of 4. When students enter school already performing behind their peers, their ability to achieve positive student success is automatically lowered. Let's look at this data. This is the impact of poverty on student outcomes. Where will they be after they leave school? Well, the data from Hanover Research indicates that a higher poverty school, only 1.1% of students are consistently high performing. In low poverty schools, the percentage of students performing consistently higher is only at an average of 24.2%. The data signifies to me that students who are in poverty are going to be negatively impacted and perhaps perform academically lower than their non-impoverished peers. Lastly, Jensen states that social economic status accounts for more than 30% of the variance in the left and right portions of the brain and the brain system function. So as you can see, cognitive function of the brain and poverty are related. His research indicates that quantity, quality, and context of children's interactions with their parents and home environment has a great impact on their student achievement. So by the time that most children start school, they should be able to use their language, their working memory to produce 13,000 words. And this is helped by At Home. And for students who are from low income homes, they often aren't taught the words that they're needed at home to come to school and be successful. With the alarming data that presents the problem with student poverty rates, we must come up with an action plan. Let's look at how we can help those students. A sample for this research study will consist of 44 students in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade enrolled at J.E. Terry Elementary. That is considered to be living in poverty. The students will be considered living in poverty based on their qualifications for free and reduced lunch. The sampling technique will be a non-random because not all students in kindergarten through 3rd grade at J.E. Terry Elementary will participate in the study. Only those who are in the population that are living in poverty will participate. With this, we will be using the Ames Web Plus assessment data. Each student in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade at J.E. Terry Elementary that is considered to be living in poverty based on their qualifications of free and reduced lunch will take the Ames Web Plus pre-test on their grade level. Following the initial pre-test, 22 participants will be placed in the experimental group and 22 in a controlled group. The students will be receiving small group intervention that will allow us to establish a connection between poverty and academic achievement. So, how we will collaborate, we will ask the classroom teachers will work with the school administrator and the content area coaches to ensure that the small group interventions and administrating to appropriate times within the school day and to ensure that they have several chances to serve as a supplemental support, not their primary support. And teachers will work with the students to ensure that at least 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours of quality reading instruction is provided daily. All lessons will be within the requirements of the Alabama State Standards. The overall goal is to be able to use the research supporting interventional support for students experience in poverty to help improve the level of interventional support at J.E. Terry Elementary School. Through the combination of quality and regular classroom instruction and additional time in small group learning, students can benefit and more insight can be gathered as to what students living in poverty need at school in order to achieve high academic success. Also, all teachers will be certified, and you will see that here with the procedures. We will be using Ames Web Plus Reading Screener. The test will be administered to students at the start and end of this study. All reading teachers will hold a state certification in elementary education or in the subject that they specifically teach. All small group intervention lessons will be pre-approved by the school administration or academic coaches. Weekly lesson plans and monthly pacing guides will ensure that all students participating in the study will receive comparable reading instruction. All students in the experimental group receiving small group interventions will be given the same intervention lessons to assist in improving reliability and validity, and a large enough non-random sample will be taken to help account for the students who may be absent or withdraw from school. Now let's look at the action plan on the internal and external validity. The test is a very reliable instrument that is used to collect data in schools. In addition, the reliability, the test identifies which specific reading discrepancies and presents and identifies students' reading strengths within the reading domain. And while there are always possible considerations related to the internal validity of the study, the same grade level will be taking the assessments of that 3-month study. So by working collaboratively with the previous mentioned learning partners and students, there will be an increase of reliability, validity, and the control within the experiment. Confidentiality is very important, and in order to protect the identity of the students participating, all participants will be assigned a random number 0 through 22 based on which group they are in, the control group or experimental group, so that no identity characteristics will be linked to the study results. The results from the study will determine whether the presence of poverty directly or statistically impacts student achievement academically. And the results from this study could potentially positively impact the intervention curriculum used with students living in poverty at J.E. Terry Elementary School. So with all of this gathered, we're going to look at the pre-test results. The pre-test, we had 70% of students with free and reduced lunch that is well below grade level. 15% of the students with free and reduced lunch are below grade level, and 15% of the students with free and reduced are on grade level. So let's see, with all of the proposed research and the research that we have done, the quantitative study with the pre-test and post-test method design, the participants have used the intervention support in small groups, and we see results. We now only have 27% of students with free or reduced lunch that are well below grade level. 20% of those students with free and reduced lunch are below grade level, and now we have 53 of the students living in poverty on grade level. So with this issue that impacts poverty, impacts students all around the world and their performance inside and outside of school, this research question has addressed and proposed the way we can help our students who are living in poverty have academic success in school. So this research proposal proved a valid connection between poverty and student academic achievement. The results show a statistically significant decrease in student academic test scores with a child is receiving free and reduced lunch, receives the appropriate intervention. Ultimately, being able to understand the link between poverty and student academic achievement can help educators better serve students who are impoverished, both at J.E. Terry Elementary School and other schools nationwide. Thank you so much. Next, you will find the references used.